grab it with your hands. Nothing's out of reach. If you really want something, if you need it, you can grab it with your hands. Nothing's out of reach. If you really want something.
Hello, all you wonderful people out there. Welcome to Jamaican Experience. My name is Gabi, and today I'm going to tell you all about how I got expelled from the Jehovah Witness. Did you know that Michael Jackson and his family were devoted Jehovah Witnesses and that he was expelled later in life too? Can you imagine? It's just today I did find out that while researching on the Jehovah Witness subject. So my story goes like I was totally brainwashed. I was so brainwashed that I believed everything what they said with Armageddon and don't drink, don't smoke, don't do this, don't have friends like outside of the community and don't do no blood transfusion, don't eat blood sausage and all those things. I guess there's quite some I shouldn't forget to mention. From when I was a little child, I can remember I went to church with my granny first. My granny's family, like her mother and her grandmother, were all Jehovah Witnesses way back. So it runs in our family from the mother's side. And she always took me to Bible studies to this other family yard. And I remember I was just laying down on their sort of sofa, like I remember it was a kitchen. And I was so small, most of the time I guess I just slept because it was so late. I remember one time asking her in church, Granny, how long are you gonna take until my feet finally will reach the ground? So that's just for you to give you an idea how small I was. I also remember those big conventions. I'm sure if you call it conventions, we did call it in Germany Congress. Huge events. In big stadiums like the one in Munich. We did do a video about the Munich Olympia Stadium if you want to watch it. And it was like every language you could imagine was there. There was an extra stadium for the English speaking, the Spanish speaking, and the God knows who. It was humongous. It was huge. Trust me. Sometimes we slept in schools like where they keep sports. You know, so a lot of people did sleep there. We had some air mattress and stuff like that. It was very simple and a lot of people in that room. I can remember that too. And it was quite an event. And the one thing I absolutely disliked, I think most of all things, was going from house to house. I mean, we all know when Sunday time comes and the doorbell rings, it might be the Jehovah Witness, right? So I was one of them. Always had to wear a skirt. Maybe that's the time also where I get to dislike skirts. You hardly don't ever see me in a skirt or dress, hardly. Can ask anybody who knows me. And it was also in an area where people didn't know me. You know, when you're a child, you're anxious and safe. You know, you're just not so comfortable with that. I'm never sure if I would run in a school friend or somebody from school. And I never did like the approach to the whole thing. If somebody wouldn't open the door, they write on a piece of paper, or he didn't open the door. If somebody take a book or the Watchtower, yes, he did take the Watchtower, he take the book. And for everything they make notes. If somebody was interested, he was interested, please come back. And that piece of little paper also you would later leave at church. You know, and you had to do so and so many hours of going from house to house every month, which I don't remember how much that was, and I'm certain I didn't do enough hours. I didn't like that at all, because I felt so much pressure there. Most of the times I was reading Bible verses, like until later they said, oh, you can do the introduction yourself and stuff like that, but it wasn't fun at all. It was so embarrassing. Nothing wrong with talking about God and so, but I don't think you need to force people. There is no right or wrong religion, right? And there's only one God in my opinion anyway. So also in school, just like the Muslims and other religions, I wasn't supposed to attend religion class. Evangelists or Catholics, like, so I always had to stay outside in one special room for those children. And sometimes I got so bored, especially in the winter time. So sometimes I sneaked in and take a little peek by the evangelists, sometimes with the Catholics, and because I was curious of what other religions are like. And Christmas, Easter, birthdays, all those things were forbidden. You couldn't celebrate Christmas, never mind having a Christmas tree. Even so, my stepfather on occasion, 1 or 2 times, he wanted a Christmas tree, so we had one. Never got presents. So I have to say my mom, she wasn't so strict. I guess I was just lucky. She sometimes would buy me something for Christmas or birthdays and stuff like. But in general, it was a no-go. And I remember in school when I got older, because everybody said, oh, I got a bicycle and me, I get this. And you know, it's not just you're jealous, not maybe jealous over the presents, but just like how they celebrate it. And later I came to realize it's so much easier if I just lie. So I lied. I said, oh, I got this and I got that, and we went on holiday there and here. And they stopped asking questions, because otherwise I would always have to explain myself why we don't do that. And after a while you just get tired of it. When the time came, I was supposed to be baptized. I think I was 13. When you're 14 years old, you can choose by yourself here in Germany if you want to be baptized or which religion you want to belong to. And then I was 13, and with the Jehovah Witness you have to answer like 100 questions. It's a long time of preparation and getting ready and thing like, it's not just like you go into the water and that was it kind of thing. And I got older. So shortly before my 14th birthday, I said I don't want to be baptized anymore. And the people just said also, oh, it's too late for that now. So I got baptized anyhow. Maybe one of the reasons why I never baptized my 2 girls, because I always thought somebody should choose by themselves what they want to be, what religion they want to belong to. So that's the reason why I never baptized my girls. My stepfather, he oftentimes gave us problems too, because my mom, she had this car, she paid for it, it was her driving license, she put gas into the car, but because he was such a mean, evil person, he would just say, yeah, stay there, it don't move. So we couldn't go to church. Remember that. He was so miserable, and people from church, especially this one lady with her 2 girls, she always said, anytime you're ready, you can stay with us, no problem, just leave him, right? So believe it or not, one day my mom put up all her courage and she got brave. She left him, she took me with her, and we went to that lady a couple of towns away, not too far away. Guess what she said? She don't have no space. That as a Christian person, as a Jehovah Witness, always saying you free to come anytime you need to, right? I was so disappointed, and I think that was just it for me. So we stayed 3 nights in a cheap hotel in some bigger town. Then the money ran out. Back then you didn't have women's shelter and stuff like that, because I was way back, I believe in the 70s or something. And nowadays, thanks God, there are women's shelters. So we had to go back. I still remember when we were standing up in front of the doorway and we rang the bell. My stepfather opened the door. I knew anyway you would come back. I never felt so humiliated in my entire life. A big thing also for me was from growing up from way back when, and how many times I did hear Armageddon is coming. You know, Jehovah Witness also, the end of the world is coming every couple of years. When you're small, you believe everything, and I was so scared. So every little shootout somewhere in some country, I thought, oh my God, this is it now, Armageddon is coming. With the Jehovah Witness, it's only like the extremely very good people will survive, and they will clean up earth afterwards, all the dead bodies and the whatevers, you know, and only the very few extremely good people, which I'm sure I wasn't one of them. I'm not a criminal or anything, you know, but I was never really living up to their standards. It's also about not having a boyfriend, not having sex before marriage, don't drink, don't smoke, don't do no drugs, don't dance, don't go out, don't have no fun, don't live life. Best thing, you just lock up yourself in your yard, like go to church, go from house to house, and that's about the life you're supposed to live. Which isn't easy, especially for a teenager growing up, right? Yes, and then one day, the big day came. We went to church, my mom and I. After church was over, one of the elders came to me and said they needed to speak to me. So I was like, what the hell did I do? My mom, she had to wait outside, which sort of I was glad, sort of not, but you know. So we were sitting around this huge table with all those elders, all men. We were so many, and there was little me. Just, oh my God. And they asked me, we heard you smoking. And I was like, yes, I did smoke one time at school in break time. With a friend of mine who was smoking. I just wanted to try what it is like. Much later in life I started smoking, like 28 or something. Back then I didn't smoke. And they said, I have a boyfriend. They heard I have a boyfriend. I had a lot of friends, boys too, but no boyfriend, right? Later I found out who that was, because there was this one girl going to the same school as I am. I still remember her name. Her name was Evelyn. I still see her face and the big glass and the dark hair. I mean, I see her in front of me like it was yesterday. And in the name of love, she told me. And probably that wasn't the only reason why I got kicked out. Maybe I didn't go enough from house to house, didn't go to church as often, wasn't as perfect as I should be. I had friends outside of church, and I don't know. I definitely was lucky that my mom wasn't all that strict, thanks God, you know. But I got kicked out. Up to this date, I don't remember whatever I did tell my mom afterwards. I don't know what I did tell her. Really, I don't know. But I was relieved in a way. I was very relieved. But years to come as well, I was afraid of Armageddon, and when you have sex also, Armageddon will come also and take you down or something. It was a long process. Never stopped believing in God, most definitely not. Always in my heart. My body is my church. I don't need to go to a church to belong to something, because God is in me, like, in a way. I never really joined another church, really. I was traumatized, I guess. So I really was glad this happened to me, because there was no more times I had to do those 6-minute speeches every other month, you know, where you get a Bible verse and you have to write a little story, you get a partner, and then you do something like a sort of a theater kind of thing. I was, months before, I was so nervous. I was very introvert, I was shy, and that was nothing for me. And I always was alone there, right? There was no more times that I had to drive in the middle of the night with a bus 1.5 hours to reach church, then walk another 1.5 hours until church started, sometimes in the winter, and it was so cold outside. My mom always used to say, one of us has to go, which was mostly than me. I mean, I understand she had to work and she had a rough life with my stepfather and so, but still it was unfair. I always was there alone. And yeah, so that was finally over, and I'm so relieved. So I came to realize that God is a loving God. He's not an angry God. He's not the one with the finger here and saying, don't do this. To me, he's a loving God. He loves all of us, perfect or not perfect. If my kids would need a blood transfusion, or anybody I love need a blood transfusion after an accident or anything, who is me? Do you really believe God don't want you to try anything possible that your loved one will survive? Do you think he really will judge you for that? You know, so that's an absolute no-go for me, definitely. So guys, that was it for today. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Maybe you have similar experience or maybe totally different. Let me know. Remember, subscribe, like, share and comment below, as I said before. Take care of yourself.